What is up, guys? It's Zero here, and if you notice the clock, I just finished recording the Jewel Knight video, the Jewel Knight intro bit, but that's a different video. You'll probably see this a week apart from that. But today, I have for you my Tempest Bolt deck profile. So this was the newest wave of support that I think it's like the last waves for the Eradicators get for a while, because in Legion they go to Brawlers. They sway away from the Eradicator archetype. So this is like the last bit of Erad support again in a while. I've said this many times, I think Eradicators suck right now. I think they're like doo-doo garbage. I don't think Tempest Bolt changed that much. I don't think Tempest Bolt made it that much different, but I do actually think the Tempest Bolt variant is like a little bit better than like the old like Vowing Descendant kind of deck, because like you're doing like you're doing what other decks are doing, but like a little worse. So yeah. That aside, we're not talking about Vowing Descendant today. We're talking about Tempest Bolt. Without further ado, let's get on with the deck profile. Once the game has to load. Bam! This is the list. Oh my god, the game's not loading. Oh, just give it a sec. Just give it a sec. It'll load eventually. It'll load eventually. This stupid mirroring app is shit. Boom, there we go. So yeah, this is the list that I've been playing, that I played around with for a bit. As you can see, it's like very different from like, or it's quite different from the like the Vowing list, the Vowing Descent list. So first we'll start out with the starter. This is the I don't even remember your name. Something Edge Draco Kid, I think. I don't know. It's the grade 3 searcher. CB 1 point in the soul. Checked out 5 for grade 3 added to hand. Linchu got nerfed quite a few months ago, so he's kind of not even in the consideration anymore. I think Linchu's kind of shit. Saishin is just worse Linchu now, and he got nerfed as well, so he's also really bad. And then after that, you don't really have much other good starter choices, so you play the Grade 3 Searcher because it is probably your best starter choice, question mark. I think it's good because getting your main Grade 3 right is nice, and then with this deck, your main, the Tempest Bolt and the Twin Thunder are both sack fodder. Once you blow up your boards, they charge on something better. So even if you find one of those, it's not that bad. You just never want to find your healer trigger off of this unless you need it for game. So yeah, that's why I played the Grade 3 Searcher starter. And then next off, you play 4 of the Eradicator Gold. It's Erad PG. It's on name. Still matters. You're still playing Descendant, but he's on name. So yeah, you play 4 of him. I would not play the old PG in this deck. And then next, I guess I'll go over the 4 first. I'm playing 4 of the Gunners, so you don't know. His skill is on place, choose one of your points units, and they lose its intercept for the turn. So you just stun an intercept, you can go face extra time. So I play 4 of them because when you're on Tempest Bolt, most of the time he's always scaling. So you never need a Vanguard booster from. You put this off to the side, you stun stuff, and you just go face. This is how I decided to build this deck. It is literally go face the deck because your Vanguard's always scaling, so you never have to worry about defenses. So yeah. That's why I choose to play 4 Gunners, because he facilitates the go face game plan. And then next off, I'm playing 3 of the Rising Phoenix, or the Chicken, I like to call him. He's on place, so blast 2, draw 1 card. You can actually use like 2, maybe even 3 of them, because your starter goes into Soul, the Aoi, the new other game I play, goes into Soul. You ride it. I guess you don't ride. I guess you don't re-ride that much in this deck, or at all. You have Zoyton help you Soul Charge, so yeah, you can actually use multiples of these cards a game, and Erads kind of have no draw power, so they very much do appreciate this card. So yeah, play 3 of it. You do want to see like 1 or 2 of it every game. That's why I play 3 of it. And then lastly, the new grade 1, the Aoi. I don't know what the rest of his name. He's an Eradicator name, so he's on name. But his skill is when you ride a grade 3, you put him into Soul. This card is actually generic, so you don't have to play him with Eradicators. You can play him in whatever you want. You can play him in you can play him in Dungery if you want. You can play him in Vermilion if you want. You might even throw him in Brawlers. Who knows? But yeah, his skill is when you ride a grade 3, you put him into Soul and you retire one of your opponent's front row rear guard. So he's like a gunner. He even has a gun, but he's like a gunner. But he already has to be on the board. So he's a gunner in a different way because you have to commit him onto the board early, meaning the opponent can kill him. Yeah. I personally like the gunners more, just because this card requires me to actually commit it early. Which also has its upsides, because sometimes with a gunner you don't want to commit. Because sometimes with a gunner you want to rush early, but at the same time you don't want to waste the gunner's skill, so you're like do you want to put this down or not? With this card, you can do that, and then you can still get the gunner later on. Gunner, like the quote-unquote gunner effect later on. So yeah. This card does retire as well, but my thought process is that if I'm playing Tempest Bolt, I'm going to retire everything eventually, so you can keep the intercepts for now. I'll just hit your face. So yeah. That's why I'm playing more gunners. Feel free to like swap ratios around if you want. If you like AoE more, you can play more of them. More AoE also means more fuel for the chicken, and that means more draws. But yeah, so cards you to draw all of these things, and I have tried it with that, and I was like I can't draw the cards I need, so it's like I'm gonna go back to playing 4 gunners. So yeah. Next up for grade 2, I'm playing 4 of the oh my god, I don't play things. I don't remember the names. The Eradicator trophy attacker. I actually don't remember. I don't remember this thing's name anymore. But yeah, he's the Eradicator trophy attacker. This deck does have booster issues, so solo attackers are always needed in this deck, in my opinion. And I play my 4 for a reason. Also since Tempest Bolt blows up your board as well, having something that can just swing by itself and not need a booster for it to hit is very nice. So yeah, I think he is a mandatory 4 of. And then next, for Zoyton, so his skill is Vanguard Rear. If you don't already know, Vanguard Rear on hit. If your Vanguard's an Eradicator, counter charge 1, soul charge 1. So he's a counter charger, actually very important in this deck because the soul is nice for the chicken, and the counter charge is actually very important because with Tempest Bolt, since he's 3 counter blast, if you use him and never counter charge after that, you can never use him again. But if you go Tempest Bolt and then call like a booster and a Zoyton, have that hit, you're threatening the Tempest Bolt again on the next turn, which can be very threatening to your opponent if they like the one that PGs need to survive, and it might not damage you for whatever reason, but yeah. I think this card is actually very needed at 4. The extra soul is always nice, but this obvious blind soul charging can lead into like all your triggers, all your PGs and souls, so that kind of sucks, but what can you do? He's still a very good card, and he's the Erad name, so he can be discarded for Descendant as well. And finally, the last 4 of is the grade 2 gunner. Again, his skill is the same thing as grade 1, on place, ignore 1 intercept. Or stun 1 intercept for a turn. Again, this deck is... I built this deck to just be go face. Hit face. So that's why I play 4 of this guy as well. You got 8 gunners total. The max you can have, so yeah. That is my choice of grade 2. And then the last one is the Neridi. The Libra clone, the Vanguard Rear on hit, counter blast 2 draw card. You can play whatever you want here. You can play like Saucer if you want. Like the CVT retire front row and say you really want to go face, but I'm like... The Neridi is kind of nice. The draws... one extra draw can be really nice sometimes, so yeah. That's why I play 1 of her. It doesn't come too often. The 1 of can obviously the 1 can be whatever. So yeah, play around with that. I like the Neridi. And then next, the new boss of this deck, the Tempest Bolt Dragon. So his skill is Limerick 4, CV3, blow up the board, or more specific, retire the rear guards of both fighters. I think it's like the actual wording on this card. I don't remember, but CV3, nuke the board. It's a board wipe. Like I don't think there's a whole lot to explain about that. It blows the board up. Obviously blowing the board means you blow up their intercepts, and since with how this game works, if they're getting to your face, they probably blow up your intercepts as well, so don't worry about blowing up your own intercepts unless you play them down first for whatever reason. But yeah, this card is, honestly, you can just treat this first skill as like a Dragonic Overlord skill. CV3, nuke the front row. And his other skill is, during your turn, he gets 2k per empty rearguard circle, both sides included, so when you blow up the board, you can fill your own board up if you really need to, but like after his limit break skill, if their board is obviously empty. Assume Garmore aside, but that's like one matchup with one specific card. After you blow up the board, and saying you fill up like 3 slots of your own, he gets 1 extra of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. He's big. He scales by himself. He hits at least 21 by himself. And I don't remember the exact math, but he scales big enough by himself to hit by himself without a booster. So yeah. That skill is honestly the main reason why I think this deck is good. Why I think this deck is better, because because your Vanguard is basically always scaling, because your opponent obviously doesn't want to play cards down for you to blow them up later. They're going to hold off on putting cards down, so this card just gets a free power pump. And then obviously, if you need the power, you just don't place down your cards yourself. The cards down yourself, so you don't fill up your entire board, because this deck can't do that to begin with. You don't draw enough cards. But yeah. The power skill is honestly one of the main reasons why I like this card, because you get the scale. You gunner their intercepts, and you can consistently hit for 2 damage every turn without overcommitting anything. So yeah, this card is very nice. I really like this card. And then the last skill, the zero exclusive buff. What was it, like during your turn? If I don't even know if it's during your, if it says during your turn, but if you retire this card yourself with a skill, you can draw one. So yeah, so obviously this was meant so that if you have excess copies of this card, you can like put this card down and then trade it off for like a card off the top of your deck, off of, with the draw. So that's nice because you get to trade the dead triggers in your hand for an extra card for a different card. So it's like a filter of sorts, but yeah, very nice because obviously you already drew the trigger, so you can't draw much worse than that unless of course you draw into another trigger. But it's always worth trying to like get rid of excess dead copies of grade 3s in your hand. So yeah, this card is nice. The rearguard skill is very, very nice. I mean, one of the reasons why I think this deck is like better because you get to trade off your excess grade 3s for better things. And then next off, the other support card that came with him, the Twin Thunder Dragon. So his skill is CB2. Discard 3 Eradicators, so that's a very, very hefty cost. Nuke the board. So he's also nuked the board. And then I actually don't remember what the other skill is. I don't remember what the other skill. He gets 2 crits somehow. I actually don't remember. I think it's like if you nuke 3 or more, he gets +2 crit. I think. I actually don't remember. But yeah, because every time I use them, I just read his skill as CB2 ditch 3. Nuke the board. He gets 2 crit. He's really big. And then another skill is when something's retired +3k. The other Vanguard skill is. So yeah, so he is like a much more expensive version of Tempest Bolt, but I've definitely had games where I'm like, damn, I'm so behind, I need somebody to randomly win the game. And this card won me the game because he's just big boy with big crit. So yeah. And then his other skill is the main reason why we play him. You honestly don't ever want to ride this thing. This thing kind of sucks on Vanguard. He's a double rare for a reason. But you play him because he also has the when retired by your own skills that affect draw cards. So he is just sack fodder. He's an 11k rearguard V6 that becomes sack fodder if your opponent doesn't kill it themselves. So yeah, that's the reason why we play this card. He's a C sack fodder, and he can like randomly win a game through crit if you needed to. So yeah, doesn't come up that often, but it's there if you need it. And then we have everybody's favorite. We have Descendant. That's my heal trigger of choice because I still think he is the best random E-Ride you can splash into the deck. But his skill is if you don't already know, once per turn, level 4. On attack, he gains the skill at the end of the battle. If his attack did not hit, use CB1, discard 2 Eradicators, restand him, draw 2, and he gets a crit. And then CB2 plus half power. So he's like a restanding Vanguard. He's good. Descendant's a good card. Descendant's a good card in a bad deck, in a not so good clan right now. Yeah, very good card. I still think this card's amazing. If this card was in a different clan, this card would be even better. But what can you do? Erads kind of suck right now, but this card is still like the best heal trigger, the best like filler you can run in any Eradicator deck. And then the one of is Vowing Sword. I don't even know what to run here. You don't really have a whole lot of good choices. I'd like to play something better here, but Vowing is still, he's still an okay ride. He gives you the random. If you draw into him and then it's Descendant, you can still do like the old deck's game plan of Vowing Descendant if you really want to. But this is one of them, whatever you want it to be. Yeah, this is the deck. Again, I don't think this deck is like particularly amazing. I think it's better than the old deck, the old Vowing Descendant focused deck, but I don't think this deck is particularly that good right now. So sucks to suck. I'd love for this clan to be good. I like Norakami a lot, but this clan kind of sucks. But what can you do? This is my deck. Play around with it. There's like many ways you could build it. I don't know what I would personally change as don't have a whole lot of choices. Oh yeah, I guess I should go over one last thing. Why I don't run Ignition. Just read the cards. There's no synergy between Ignition and Tempest Bolt. Yes, they came in the same wave of support, but they have zero synergy with each other. Tempest Bolt is Ignition is like Breakride 10k, pop 2 cards prioritizing back row. Like, why am I wasting an extra counterblast to do that when Tempest is doing it anyways? But yeah, there's no synergy between Ignition and Tempest. If you run both together, I don't know what you're doing. I personally see Ignition as more of support for like Gauntlet Buster or like Vowing Reverse more than Tempest Bolt. I don't think those two have, Tempest and Ignition have anything to do with each other. So yeah, this is my deck. Yeah, I'm pretty sure even the challenge fight doesn't run both in the same deck. Maybe it's the one, I don't remember. But yeah, this is my deck. And what you think about this deck? Like and subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.